Welcome to our video lesson on dividing decimals by decimals. Dividing decimals by decimals, that means that our divisor is going to be a decimal today. Alright, can you start by writing down these steps? Step number 1, multiply the divisor by 10 until it is a whole number. Remember, the divisor is the number that is being divided by. So for example, our divisor would be the number that's found out here. Our divisor. So we're going to multiply it by 10 until it is a whole number. Then number 2, multiply the dividend by the same number of times you multiplied the divisor by 10. So the dividend is what goes inside the division symbol. So for this case, our dividend is 12 4/10. So I would multiply the dividend by 10 the same number of times as I did the divisor. Then, number 3, if there's a decimal in your dividend, bring it up. So you're going to bring it up right away and then divide like normal. Make sure you have those steps written down. Now we're going to do a few examples. Alright, our first example. We have 38 and 4/10 divided by 8/100. I'm going to start by writing out the question. 38 and 4/10. It goes inside because it's first, divided by 8/100. Alright, our first step is to multiply the divisor by 10 until it is a whole number. Okay, so our divisor is 8/100. So I'm going to multiply it by 10 once. When I do that, the decimal will move over here. Then I'm going to multiply it by 10 again, so the decimal's over here, and we no longer have a decimal in our divisor. We've done step 1. Step 2, multiply the dividend by 10 the same number of times you multiplied the divisor by 10. Okay, we multiplied our divisor by 10 twice. So we're going to do the same thing with the dividend. So we're going to move our decimal place or multiply it by 10 once, and then twice. Well, hey, wait a minute, there's no number left here. What do we do with it? We're going to put a 0 in here. That's what would happen to it if you multiplied it by 10. It would increase, the decimal would move over one place value, and you can put a 0 there. Alright, now we have a decimal in our dividend. It's here, so we're going to bring it up to our top here. Make sure you can see that. There you go, there's our decimal. And now we can divide like normal. So it'll be just like the questions from yesterday. Alright, I'm going to rewrite the question just because it looks a little messy up there, and I want to make sure we can see it easily. So now we have 3,840 divided by 8. How many times can 8 go into 3? It can't. How many times can 8 go into 38? It goes in 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. 38 minus 32 is 6. Bring down that 4. How many times can 8 go into 64? 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 minus 64 is 0. Bring down that last 0. How many times can 8 go into 0? 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. So we subtract and get the answer of 0. So our quotient, or our answer, is 480. That means that 38 and 4/10 divided by 8/100 is 480. We're going to do another example now. Okay, first we're going to write it out the proper way. So we have 403 divided by 8/10. Alright, step 1, multiply the divisor by 10 until it is a whole number. So we are going to multiply our 8/10 by 10, which moves its decimal place over once, and we get 8. Now, we multiply the dividend by 10 the same number of times you multiplied the divisor by 10. Okay, but wait, I don't see a decimal place in my dividend. What happens? Well, the decimal place is there, but it's here, and we don't need to write it because there's nothing after it. So our decimal place is secretly here, and we're going to move it over one spot here. And this is the same as what happened in our first example. We don't have a number there, so we're going to fill it in with a 0. Now I'm going to rewrite our question so you can see it nicely. We now have 4,030 divided by 8. How many times can 8 go into 4? It can't. How many times can 8 go into 40? It goes in 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract that, get a 0. Bring down that 3. How many times does 8 go into 3? It can't go into 3, so we put a 0. So we put a 0 here. 0 times 8 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3, and we bring down our last 0 here. How many times can 8 go into 30? It goes into 30. It goes into 30 for 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. So now we do 30 minus 24, and that is going to give us 6. Now I'm going to continue up over here so that we have space. So 30 minus 24 gives me 6. Or 1 second, I'm going to rewrite it. I've rewritten our problem up here so that I have enough space and so that you don't get confused. Now we have our 6 down here. We have run out of numbers at the top. What are we going to do? We are going to add a decimal, right here, decimal point, bring it up right away, and then we are going to keep adding zeros until we get a remainder of 0. So how many times can 8 go into 60? 8 goes into 60 7 times, and 7 times 8 is 56. Now we do 60 minus 56, that gives us 4. We add another 0 because we're not at a 0 down there yet. How many times can 8 go into 40? 8 goes into 40 5 times, and 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 40 gives us 0, and now we can finish. So our answer for 403 divided by 8 tenths is 503 and 75 hundredths. I hope this helps. Sometimes this process can be a little bit confusing, so if you need to, go back and rewatch any part of the video or ask me any questions in class. That's all for now. I'll talk to you later.